Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new and you like this content, do me a favor by subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like the video. Very important for the growth of the channel and the algorithm. And do not forget to make sure you actually turn on your notification bell. What are we discussing today? Mykhaylo Mudryk. Mykhaylo Mudryk. We know, as I've been after this player for a long time, we want to get him into the team. But Shakhtar have been notoriously stubborn. We know how Shakhtar are very stubborn when it comes to the transfer of their player. They play a damn hard ball. Shakhtar Donetsk, I remember the Fred transfer and a few transfer, Douglas to, was it Bayern those days? They are very notoriously stubborn for actually playing a hard ball. And now we're trying to get a player, and they've been playing all kinds of games. All kinds of games. But I'm still hopeful Arsenal can get this done. I think the Crown case actually want to support Arteta. We know we are still on top of the summit, and we need to bring in our players to actually help us push forth and win, and possibly, in my opinion, possibly win the English Premiership, which is going to be tough. But we need to add in quality players to the squad, and we've been linked to Mykhaylo Mudryk. Now, he's a young player playing the Ukrainian league. He looks very decent. He's predominantly right-footed that plays on the left wing. He can play on the right wing, but he predominantly plays on the left wing. Now, Arsenal have been linked with this player. We were linked last summer, but we didn't actually push for the deal. Now we are pushing for the deal. It's looking like Shakhtar, for some reason, are stressing us. They are stressing a lot of Arsenal fans. They are stressing the hierarchy. They are stressing Mykhaylo Arteta. Now, I know Mykhaylo himself have been playing some funny games, posting, watching Arsenal matches, doing all sorts of shenanigans. But Arsenal are keen on this transfer. So let's look at some news while we discuss this protracted saga. That's how I'll call it for now. It's like a protracted saga. So let's look at some updates, right? Let's look at some updates on Mudryk. According to Sky Sport, sources close to the deal have explained to Sky Sports News that Shakhtar view Mudryk, who has played just 8 games for his country, is yet to score a goal in international football, as one of the top 5 wingers in the world. See, we get it. We get he's one of the most promising wingers in the world, but he hasn't played outside the Ukrainian league. Now, has he played a few Champions League games? Yes, but he has not played outside the Ukrainian league. This hardball, this brickmanship Shakhtar are playing is for them to squeeze as much as possible. I get it. Is your player is under contract? There's no release clause, so they'll try and squeeze. But when do you push it? At the same time, I understand Arsenal need to actually pay a bit more. Let's not forget, Arsenal are doing well. They're top of the league. Eventually, what comes with that is that clubs try to actually squeeze the buying club for more, especially if you are doing well. They think you have resources, and you are an English club. They will try to squeeze for more. So I get that part, but both teams have to be very reasonable. Arsenal's got to be reasonable. Shakhtar for me has to be reasonable. But this £100 million talk, yeah, or €100 million talk is not feasible. It is not feasible. So let's look at other updates about this potential deal, which is still a saga at the moment. Shakhtar believe Mudryk is better than Anthony at Manchester United, who cost 86 million. Is this pounds or euros? Pounds from Ajax in the summer, and are using that as a benchmark in negotiation. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ludicrous. This is ridiculous. So the fact that Manchester United were silly enough, I'm going to maintain, are silly enough to actually pay over the odds, over astronomical fees, telephone number fees for Anton, doesn't mean we have to pay that. Like I said, Manchester United have been run ragged for the past few seasons. They've decided to pay astronomical wages and astronomical transfer fee. That doesn't mean we should pay that. The fact that they are silly at Old Trafford doesn't mean the Emirates have to follow suit. I do not go by that benchmark. I understand Anthony might not be as good as Mudryk. I don't think it's that great, even though he's a decent player. I don't think using that benchmark is logical. You cannot do that, because why don't you use the Gakpo benchmark? Gakpo just went to Liverpool for 37 million pounds plus 20 million add-ons. And if you look at the opening bid of Arsenal, Arsenal have actually bidded 40 million pounds plus 20 million add-on. That's decent. So this Anthony benchmark is absolute bollocks. And I get it. The English clubs have more money, and I get it. Arsenal are top of the summit, and you should pay a bit more. But when do you go above limit and begin to become an extortionist? Because Shakhtar are beginning to overpush the envelope. I'm not saying Arsenal shouldn't pay up, but no. We're not going to overpay for Mudryk. I don't think we should overpay. Sorry. I don't think we should overpay for Mudryk. I don't think it's a fair deal for us to overpay for Mudryk. He's a good player. I think he has a potential to be a world-class player, but paying that astronomical fee, I don't think is feasible. I don't think it's sensible, and I don't think Arsenal should pay that kind of money. At the same time, I don't think Arsenal should take a piece as a Shakhtar. It's their player, and I think we should find a healthy middle ground so that the deal can be done. Let's look at some of the other updates. According to Ben Jacobs, right? Speaking on the Modric deal, potential deal which has not been done, through a combination of things and preferably structure as well, where Shakhtar gets more money up front, they feel potentially they are getting closer to a number they want. Arsenal will feel like they are still getting Modric at the market value. That looks more reasonable. If Arsenal can actually put up a reasonable a fee up front, and the add-ons can be staggered in a way that both teams are happy, I think this can be done. But anything in the region of 85 million pounds, I don't think Arsenal will do that. I don't think Arsenal are trying to go beyond or try to actually break their world transfer record at the moment. So most teams have to be reasonable. And for me, I'm not trying to be the accountant general for Arsenal. I just think we need to understand that the fact that we're a winning team at the moment, teams will want to extort us. That's just the fact. You cannot get away from the fact that once you start winning, you start paying premium prices. That is just the... See, you cannot escape from that. Once you start winning, let's not forget Liverpool too. Before they got to the winning phase, they were paying reasonable fees. But once they start winning, they start paying... See, look at the fees they paid for Diaz. Look at what they paid for Darwin Núñez. So once you start winning, eventually you have to start paying the premium. But how far can we push this? I'm happy the Kroenkes are supporting Arteta, they're supporting Edu, but at the same time, the Kroenkes are not notorious for paying that kind of fees. So we have to find a way to meet in the middle. Arsenal and Shakhtar have to find a way to resolve this amicably. I'm hopeful. If you ask me my personal opinion about this deal, I think the deal can be done, but I'm not optimistic we'll get it done in the first week of the transfer window. I'll prefer we get it done as quick as possible because we need attacking players as quick as possible. Jesus is out. Smith Rowe is not yet back to fitness, so we need to bring in attacking talent. We don't have to wait till we suffer another injury or setback before we start bringing in these talents. Let's not forget, when I saw the bench against West Ham, it was depressing. Even though we have a few injured players out, that bench was damn depressing. We had kids. Reece Nelson is injured. Smith Rowe is not yet back. Jesus obviously injured. Tomiyasu was out. So we need to bring in some players. If we remember clearly, I think it was the pre-match press conference of the match against West Ham. Arteta specifically mentioned that we need players, not player. He said we need players, meaning at least two. Now, with Jesus' injury, do I expect Arsenal to bring in a traditional striker? Is a possibility. So, talking about bringing in a traditional striker or not, there are other rumors about Arsenal interested in bringing João Felix. Now, I can't play this video for obvious reasons, for copyright reasons, but you can see it. David Ornstein speaking to the guys at NBC Sports, and he mentioned, if you look at, let's look at that, let's read this tweet, right? David Ornstein on NBC talking Arsenal and the January transfer window with the latest on Mudryk and Joao Felix. So, sorry guys. We have rumors about Arsenal trying to bring in Joao Felix on loan with no obligation to buy or option to buy. Now, that's kind of tricky. Will Arsenal try? If Arsenal brought in Joao Felix, right, with no obligation to buy, and it does well, and another club, Real Madrid or Chelsea, comes and buy him, that will be very hurtful to the Arsenal fans and the Arsenal hierarchy. So that's another tricky deal to do. And perhaps Joao Felix is not a traditional striker. He's a second striker that can play as a striker. He can play as a false nine. But there are other rumors that tells us that Arteta himself is not convinced about Joao Felix facing that role, but he doesn't mind having him. So I don't know, guys. Let me know. I don't know how that will go. But right now, Beggars has not chosen. I'll take Joao Felix. I'm not saying Keita cannot do a decent job, but we are an injury away from crisis. If Nketiah pulls a hamstring or gets a red card, Torture doesn't get a red card, or pulls an injury, we are effed. So even though we are bringing in Mudryk, we need to still look at a backup for Nketiah or a competition for Nketiah while Jesus is still out. And we are hearing rumors. We keep on being too optimistic about how Jesus will come back in February. I think sometimes we need to be very realistic as Arsenal fans. The fans have to be sensible. As much as I want Jesus to get back to the team, there is no guarantee Jesus will come back February and hit the ground running. So we have to be very, very careful about hoping that, Jesus can come back and hit the ground running. No, it doesn't work like that sometimes. Jesus might come back and might not hit the ground running, and touch it doesn't happen, or get a setback in the from his injury, and we cannot actually go back to transfer window and buy. And our title hopes and our top four hopes might be a threat. So whether we bring in Mudryk or not, we still, in my opinion, need a striker. Not because I do not rate Nketiah. I rate Nketiah. I think Nketiah can do a decent job. It's unfair that some of the fan base have been overly critical about Nketiah. I think Nketiah can do a good job. I just think we still need a backup in case, like I said, there's an hamstring injury to Nketiah or a red card or anything can happen. So we still need a backup. So I'm hoping the hierarchy, Arteta, Edu, are looking to bring in a backup. Not because I don't rate Nketiah, because anything can happen. This is football, and injuries are part of the game. Injuries are part of the game. Guys, please stick a like in the video for the upgrading. Very, very important while we are on the stream. So let's look at some of the other updates regarding Mudryk. Some of the other updates. Let me see. So according to Ben Jacobs, or still on Mudryk, this is all heading towards Arsenal agreeing a deal. But because it's Arsenal, perhaps not other clubs like Chelsea, for example, I still feel if Shakhtar continue to insist on crazy money, then Arsenal will walk away. Now, there's still, regardless of how optimistic I am about the deal, I think Arsenal will get it done. But there's still a tiny bit of me, like I would say 10 to 20% chance that Arsenal could walk away, because we know Shakhtar are tough and they could decide to insist on the crazy money they want. But the only thing that gives me hope about this deal is because the player is keen, and when players are keen, we know how much they can fall. I'm not pushing or prescribing that Modric to become unruly with Shakhtar. I just think sometimes if the players, the club, Shakhtar are playing hardball, the player can actually, become unruly a little bit and push for the move. Let's not forget Fafana during the summer transfer window from Leicester to Chelsea, how Fafana had to almost go on strike. I think even on strike to get that move, to push that move through. So sometimes when clubs are very unruly and very difficult to agree to a reasonable amount of money. I'm not saying Shakhtar do not have the right to demand premium for their player, but what's the definition of premium sometimes? Because these clubs be crazy. Most of these clubs be crazy, demanding astronomical fees for their players. I'm not saying Modric is not a top talent that can become a world-class player in the future. And we don't even know the terms of the deal. Sometimes Shakhtar can be demanding this astronomical fee and still sneaking a clause in a contract for a percentage of a future sale. That's how ridiculous this thing can be, because most of the time we as fans we refuse to do a bit of research and understand how deals are done. Sometimes the selling clubs demand astronomical amount of money, and yet insert clauses for a future sale. They want like 20%, sometimes 15%, sometimes as high as 40%, even though they are demanding an initial fee that seems astronomical. So that's why I will hold my horses regarding the Gakpo deal. Even though he has gone for £37 million to Liverpool, with I think £20 million add-ons, we don't know the terms and conditions in those contracts. We don't know whether there is a clause that says if Liverpool decides to sell Gakpo to a Madrid in the future, or a Man City in the future, maybe, just maybe, there's a percentage that PSV will still get from the deal. So we don't know. So if you ask me about this deal regarding Modric, I think it will get done. I think it will get done. It might take a while. I'm not sure we can get it done within the first week. I think by the second week, I think we'll get it done, because the Kroenkes are in town. Josh and Stan, they're in town. They're supporting Arteta. There will not be a better time. There will not be a better time to support Arteta, to push for the title. We are playing well. We are top of the summit by 5 points. We are playing well. So it will be insane not to support Arteta. I get it. The club shouldn't have to pay crazy money that will hurt the finances to get other deals done or put the clubs in jeopardy. But I think regardless of how tough or hardball or the brinksmanship Shakhtar are playing, I think this deal will get done. I just think this deal will get done, if eventually to get done. And I don't know how quick it will get done. It just reminds me of the Arshavin deal. Those of you who remember the Arshavin deal from St. Petersburg, this was how St. Petersburg was holding on till the last day, the last hour, and that's how got that deal done. So I think this deal will get done, guys. Don't forget to stick a like on the video. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please. Very important for the algorithm. And do not forget to make sure your notification bells are turned on. So, guys, this will be what I'll be doing. This will be how much I'll be going on this news on Mudryk, the saga, the protracted deal of Mudryk to Arsenal. Like I said, I'm 80% optimistic this deal will get done. Like I said, the player is keen on coming. Arsenal is keen. Arteta is keen. Edu is keen. The only stumbling block is the price. So let's see how good Edu's negotiation skills are. Let's see how much Modric himself can push Shakhtar to make sure this deal gets done. Like I said, I think it will get done. So, guys, like I said, like the video, very important. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and don't forget to turn your notification bells on. So, I think I'll be doing more lives subsequently. Maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure. Make sure your notification bells are turned on. Maybe I'll do another live tomorrow. Thank you guys for coming, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.